So this is the tax plan comparing Biden's against Trump's, okay? Trump 21%, Biden 28%. This is the worst case it can be.
And it's the one on the bottom that Trump is focusing on and saying that the stock market's going to crash.
So out of the four you're looking at, income tax and payroll, it's going to go to 37. Biden's 52. Small business tax, 29.6, 39.6. Capital gains, 23.8, 43.4. Pull up the 50-cent thing that he did on New York Post. He said 62.6% in the state of New York. California, and then 60% in New York, and then 50 Cent comes out saying, I don't want to be known as 20 Cent under Biden's tax plan. He says, I don't care about Trump, I just don't want to pay the taxes. So when you look at these taxes, go back to the numbers so everybody can take a look at it. When you go back to these taxes, as a matter of fact, make that bigger, make us smaller. Make that bigger, make us smaller. What's going to hurt the economy the most out of these four?
Immediately, the capital gains tax.
Why is that?
Well, if there's a certain Biden victory in 2020, then people who are sitting on a ton of gains on in their stock holdings, they're going to take those gains off the table. They're going to take a much lower capital gains hit than they will if they wait until 2021. That's the biggest risk right now to the stock market.
Unpack that again. Okay, so if this is,
I'm going to pay a lower tax rate today, this year.
Yep.
Which means, we've only got a few weeks left of this year, effectively, versus taking the risk that they pass that capital gains tax hike quickly, such that I would lose, what, 20 percentage points of my gains?
Wow.
That's a lot.
So you're saying a lot of people are going to sell and get out of the stock market before the end of the year.
Is that investors are sitting on such huge gains.
Also, you said if they pass this.
Before he's even inaugurated, you're going to get hammered.
Because they're not going to take a chance.
No.
Taxes aren't going to go up. If Biden wins, nothing happens in lame duck. Nada.
No, time out. You just said people are going to dump it within weeks. That's going to affect the stock market.
In 2020.
Right, in 2020. Right, because people aren't going to wait and see if it passes or not.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's not going to recover in 2021. It's not like it's going to come back up in 2021.
Well, it's the most overvalued it's been in the history of the country, so no, it's not.
Yeah.
So there are other economic factors like 23 million Americans collecting unemployment benefits that are dragging the economy down all by itself.
So that's number one. How does this affect? So, for example, I have the answer for myself, but I want to hear from you, somebody that's in this space. You're right. Billionaires subscribe to Quill. If you've not, we put a link below to what she does in the comment section if people want to know what she really does on how much. I'll call Danielle. We'll be talking to Pat. I'm writing all day today. Can we talk Thursday and we'll get on the phone? We'll talk the next.
Sure.
I know the days for us to talk is Thursday because she's working nonstop writing. But for me, I want you to kind of explain this from the standpoint of, I'm the small business owner. How does this affect me? I'm an average guy. I don't run a business. I make $55,000 a year. How does that affect me? I'm an independent contractor making $300,000 a year. How does this affect me? Give us optics
you're
from
going to look
ways.
if your take-home profits go back up to the prior peak rate, 39.6 is what it was prior to the Trump tax bill. If you know that, then you're going to be more reticent about expanding your workforce to the same extent. You're not going to make the same investment you might otherwise, because you're going to look at the profit picture and you're going to look at the math of profits differently, given what you know you can take home from that. So it's going to make you a potentially more conservative small business owner, which is the last thing we need at this juncture with so many small businesses that have already been lost.
So Danielle, question for you. Because you said you were not sure who you're voting for.
I'm still not.
Is seeing something like this doesn't sway you to want to vote more towards Trump, and why not?
Well, then it comes down to an existential question, right? Then it comes down to why you would vote for one person over the other, whether or not you were doing something that was bigger for your country. And that is, I think, where the people who are undecided, why they're undecided. I was out to dinner with some friends a few nights ago, this lovely open air West Village, blah, blah, blah area here in Dallas. And he said, I've voted Republican my entire life, and I know that I'm going to be paying higher taxes, and yet I think it's the right thing to do to vote against Trump. And so I think that is where some people have their thinking, because they view Trump as being a divisive president rather than being a uniting president again.
Is he divisive? Oh, okay. So here's a question, because this is
he was asked about the governor of Michigan, and he said, they're chanting "lock her up," and he's like, "No, lock them all up." So I mean, you have to be more like tonight. You have to be more like
Yes, you have
that
to be more
Trump, more
tactful.
presidential.
Yes, more tactful. So,
Would you please repeat that and unpack that, because I was picking up a spill. You said the guy was lifelong Republican.
Lifelong Republican. He'd always voted for the Republican Party his entire life. He knew that it was going to cost him money in higher taxes because of the type of company that he has. So he knew, he's in real estate, but he knew that he was going to be paying
Kinda what we
higher
talked about
taxes
today.
We talked about this earlier.
under Biden, but yet he felt that it was the right thing to do for the country.
I cannot wrap my arms around that thought.
Yeah,
that is
me neither.
unbelievable that he would say that.
But
I truly
again-
can't. And then you couple coronavirus, right? So if Biden is shutting
but
down the country,
we have riots in our streets, and we have a lot of people who connect very quick dots to it,
Tom,
to
but
the
you've
fires
also
in the
heard
streets.
of the Lincoln Project. You've heard of this? Lincoln Project
Very
is
powerful.
basically all former all Republicans.
They're former Republican campaign advisors,
Former campaign
staunch
advisors, national
GOP.
security, staunch GOP. They've come out, there's hundreds of them, how many? Who have all come out and said, I can't support this person. I had a conversation with a person on the DNC. He's a major fundraiser. I know he makes a buku a lot of money. And I was like, dude, you make a lot of money. Tell me how you justify voting Democrat when you know that it's going to increase your taxes. He said, kind of like Danielle said, it's bigger than my money.
It's bigger than me.
It's bigger than me.
And that is-
and I'm also calling him out. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
What's
What do you
the
mean?
bigger?
This is what I want to know.
Okay, it's bigger. I don't know what you're talking about. Explain it to me. What's the bigger? What am I
I would
missing?
assume they want to care about the country benefiting overall.
Higher taxes.
Some-
Collusion with China, obviously. Selling us out to China. Having your son...
What's
what the-
selling us out
I
to
think
China?
they're talking. I
Connection
think
to
it's simpler than that. I think it's what's on the evening news.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So it's not bigger. People just assume it's bigger.
Well, it is. Look.
It's not bigger.
But wait, where she went.
Wait.
Where she went.
Why have gun sales in America tripled since the coronavirus hit?
I know our household has more because we are scared of the narrative the Democrats keep pushing.
But I speak to my friends on the East Coast, in New York City. These are die-hard liberals, and they're gunning up, and I'm like, good God, you're going to shoot your foot off. I mean, I get it here. I get it here in Texas. But the whole country, is getting armed up.
I've been in Beverly Hills. I've seen the riots. I've seen the stuff going on. I mean, the reason people are buying. I've never owned a gun in my life ever. I'm going to get a gun. I am going to get a gun. I live in LA. I mean, and it's not the. It's the stuff I see and what's going on for real. The stuff they didn't even talk about on the debate
But
tonight.
it's very, very important what she said, because we were having a conversation today, and he says, Pat, if the taxes, Adam's asking me when I landed back I was at Jekyll Island last 4 days, I had a whole meeting there. Anyways, he said, Pat, how about all these tax stuff? You know, if that's the case, why are all these Silicon Valley people voting for the left? Okay, why are all these billion? And then we addressed that.
Why is Wall Street,
Why is
quote,
Wall Street
unquote,
voting for the left? And so
And Wall Street has been.
question. I don't
We
understand
don't
why.
know that they are. We don't know exactly how they vote.
But
No,
he's
they
asking
are.
a question. But you said something. You said something right now. And then you said, and he says, well, how about this? How about collusion? How about raising taxes? How about your son this? And he went off, right? And you said, I don't think it's that complicated. I think it's as simple as what's being said on the news.
No, not what's being said. You can have it on mute with what you're seeing on the news, with the fires in the streets. I think that says more than anything else. It's like it's
Yeah, but
pictures.
that's manipulation.
That's
though.
what I'm saying.
pure
So it's not
manipulation. That's
bigger. It's not
It's not
bigger than.
necessarily the truth. That's
It's-
manipulation.
yeah,
That's
or on my
manipulating-
Twitter feed or wherever.
Yeah, but
Because I don't really watch.
It's skewed a
I
certain
don't watch
way.
that. I don't watch the
Because-
evening news. I haven't
right,
watched
but
the
the thing is,
network news in ever.
my issue, Danielle, is this. Adam said he talked to his buddy at the DNC, and he says, it's bigger. What's bigger? The lies? So you've got to go and put somebody that's going to make everybody happy so that you stop the riots? That's not bigger. That's you saying, I'm scared, I don't know how to defend my country, and I'm just going to sit here and cry about it, and I'm just going to put somebody that's going to give us peace, but it's literally going to ruin the country. So it's not bigger.
That's if there's a blue sweep.
If it's I
Only
get
if it's a
that.
blue sweep. If it's not a blue sweep,
Can I
then the
simplify this
legislation
for you?
doesn't get
Yeah.
I'm going
passed.
to make this super freaking simple. Beyond simple, okay? Why are half the country for Trump, and why is half the country against Trump?
Naiveness.
Super simple. It's not naivete.
I'm
I'm letting you know, if you're willing to listen. Half the country loves Trump because he's an asshole, because he shakes things up.
no.
Because he'll call bullshit, because he'll call out China. And the other half of the country hates him because he's an asshole. It's just that simple.
No.